Poudre River's pretty low for July 3rd. Not much snow last winter, and then it got super warm in March, so it melted off early. It's easy to be deceived by the first half mile of this trail. People think it's a 6-mile round trip with 2,000 feet of elevation gain. Poudre Wilderness Volunteers has done a great job at improving this trail. It used to be much rockier and rugged, but it does get a lot steeper and rockier a little further up. These steps and water bars have just been put in the last year or so. They've done a great job. Intermittent stream is very dry. There's often water in here. Lower junction, about 3/4 of a mile in. This is where the trail starts to get a little more rugged, going up the canyon. This trail is very well known for its poison ivy. Here's a good example of the trail improvements. This used to just be a jumble of rocks. Now it's a nice set of stairs. Much easier to go up. Here's our intermittent stream crossing again. A little bit of flow. This canyon can get really, really hot in the summer. Thankfully it's overcast today. So even at 9 o'clock it's probably around 70 degrees. Sometimes if the sun is beating down, it can be 100 degrees in here by 11. This was all burned by the High Park fire in 2012. So every year there's more dead trees falling down. There's not many left to fall. So it's 9 in the morning and you can see the sun is just getting down to the bottom of the canyon. So you can get up the canyon before the sun hits you. You're in the shade. It's kind of desolate, but it's coming back. I love this hike. I never get tired of it. Yeah, it's surprisingly green through here. We've had little spotty thunderstorms recently, nothing with any major water content. But these guys look happy. This is a fun little rock garden. So this is one of the most heavily used trails in the Fort Collins area. It's only about a half hour from town, so people come out here a lot. Small parking lot holds maybe 20 or 30 cars, and it was almost full when I got here. But since it's such a limited parking space, you never really see that many people on the trail. Watch out. Looking back down the trail, I don't remember all these wildflowers here before. So I'm about 1.25 miles in, about 800 feet of climb. I'm gonna follow the drainage, a little cross country up through here. A little more overgrown since I last went through here. Maybe it's been raining out here more than in Fort Collins. This is newly downed, but these dead trees are falling all the time back in here. Then we just gotta skirt up this little rock here. Gonna need both hands. There we go. there's still a little water running coming down from the meadow. I think this is a deer trail through here. So then this tricky traverse through all the pickup sticks. And then we traverse up along this flank up to this notch. So here it's a make your own adventure. Just kind of look for a ramp and walk up it. Keeping an eye out for rattlesnakes, of course. Or an ear out, or both. And of course, these will go right through your boots. This granite has nice big sharp crystals, so it's really easy to get a good grip. Although it does eat through the boots. Time to get the stick out. Gonna go right up through those rocks there. It's getting really brushy. This is easier in the winter for sure. Keep coming across these big patches of poison ivy that I have to maneuver around. Yep, we're gonna leave this for a winter hike. Too much thistle, too much poison ivy, too much yucca, too many brambles. Much easier to go through without the foliage. But we're to the descent here, down to the flowage, those big boulders down there. That's the flowage down. There's our route up through there and down. And then my first time I came up here, I came up this flowage and actually went underneath these big rocks here, because you can crawl right under. And then up to the meadows. So then you just follow the flowage up to the meadow. They use this for grazing, so there's often cow paths you can follow. So now we're back to the meadow trail, and there is some flowage here. And then this heads back up to the upper junction, and there is Greyrock. We're gonna head over to this North Mountain. Wish I had my pants today. The one day I don't wear them. This meadow is full of deer flies. I came through here 3 or 4 months ago, and all of these trees had just come down. So there was a major blow. These are all green trees too. We're gonna head up through here to Balanced Rock. All right, coming up on the Balanced Rock. There it is. Pretty cool. It's probably like that actual mushroom top's maybe 10 feet tall. But we are going to take a different route back because I want to avoid those horseflies. They're still here, but not as bad. So we're going to skirt back a little higher up the flank around the west side of the meadow. So this is the north side of Greyrock. Not the best view because we're shooting into the sun. Nice meadow. Going on this flank was much better with regard to the horseflies or deer flies or any kinds of bugs. So now that's the Greyrock kind of from looking from the northwest. It's 1.8 billion year old granite batholith. So everything around it's been eroded away. I know people backpack up into here and camp, but with all these flies, it would not be fun right now. Would be a nice spot. So that's the meadow trail down there, the meadow on the right. We're about an hour and a half in, 3 miles and almost 1,300 feet of climb. Meadow goes up that way and all the deer flies. So we're just coming around the corner here. I'm able to see Greyrock. So I've seen less than 10 people on the trail this morning. Mind you, probably half of my time was off trail, and this being the meadow trail, it's not as heavily used as the main Greyrock trail. There we go, full view. Just stopping for a snack and some of this, and then we'll continue on up. It's about a mile and 700 feet of climbing from here. So the trail skirts up along here, around the back, and then all the way up to the top in a big switchback. So beyond the upper junction, it starts to get a little steeper and rockier. Although again, the trail has been significantly improved over the years with steps like these. And then exiting the aspen grove, we have about a quarter mile of these rocky ramps that follow the big trees up. Smoky day. Follow the big trees. And we're almost up to the first bench. So 14 years out from that High Park fire, and there's not too many trees left standing out there. This is what we came up. So this is the first bench. Looking out to the Great Plains there to the east. This wraps around and then does a hairpin around the east side of Greyrock and then heads back west to the summit. Yeah, right here we just go up through this little notch. Nice set of steps, nice views. The backside of Greyrock. All right, here's this last little pitch up to the lower pond. See if I can do this one-handed. This can be a little tricky when it's covered with snow and ice. Oh yeah, it's nice and dry and grippy. But it's harder with going one-handed. There we go. There. So I was just up here 3 weeks ago, and the frogs were croaking away, and this green spot here was all full of water. So you had to go around it up by this little tree here and climb up there to go around the pond. But I guess no rain, and it's been hot, so it's all dried up. But you don't really expect this in the middle of this burnt out desert. In case you were wondering. Yep, and you just go up the ramps. Keep going up. So then just a couple minutes, 3-4 minutes, hike up from that lower pond/meadow is the upper pond. And then that's the true summit there. Steep little climb, I pushed it a little bit. So let's go up there and get a view. So we're coming up from the upper pond and ramping around. This is looking northwest, very smoky today. Fires down in the southwest. So sometimes we get these bluebird skies, actually quite frequently. We get the bluebird skies. That goes right up to the summit there, just another 20 feet. But we're gonna go to this viewpoint because I like it. There's the upper junction down there. Oh, Chippy. Oh, birdie. It's the Raywas out there. And then there were some climbers down here. And up towards Fort Collins that way. Okay, so top of Greyrock via the flowage and then up to Balanced Rock. So it's still only about 50 feet more elevation gain going that way than if we just went straight up the trail, the 3-mile trail. So I'm at 4¼ miles, about 2 hours and 15 minutes. Voila. I think maybe we'll go down this way. We'll kind of go down here, down, there's a little notch you got to go through, and then back up on that ridge, or maybe walk along that ridge because that's nice. Yeah, let's try going up this way. Ramps, ramps, ramps. And more ramps. Just go up the ramps. And here, but I think we need to get down there. So I think the better route is to go down that ramp, down that ramp, down through there, and then we'll go around this rock down to here. Ramps, ramps, ramps. not a ramp because we'll have to down climb. That one looked too steep, so we'll go down this. There's these nice ledges I can hold on to going down. Yeah, that was much easier. Lots of nice handholds and footholds. It was just this bush at the bottom. Okay, it's 11:20. Gonna start our descent. Should be about an hour and a half to go those 3 miles. It takes about as long going down as going up because it's a rocky trail. So if we don't make any stops, should be down there in 90 minutes. It's a pretty cool spot up here. Camping isn't allowed, and you can understand why. It would get totally trashed with dozens of people up here every week. So this way everyone gets to enjoy it. Can't believe I'm not seeing anybody up here. I've seen 2 groups of 3 since I started from the upper junction. Yeah, this is a little tricky. I'm not gonna film it as I walk down. Need my hands. The descent isn't any faster than coming up. You gotta be careful. There's a lot of loose gravel and roots and rocks that move sometimes. This is a huge improvement through here. Where there's steps, there used to just be a pile of rocks. So this is really nice. Makes it a lot easier and safer. Thank you, PWV. Came across a couple rock climbers that I saw and heard on my way up. Rock was getting too hot for them because that faces south, the face they were on. Whew. All right, almost to the lower junction, or I should say upper junction. There's only 2 junctions, upper and lower. See why they're called the Rocky Mountains. All right, upper junction. That took just about 25 minutes. So we got 2 miles to go down to the Pooter. Well, here's the big rock. Which is a good landmark at the top of the switchbacks. So the trail goes up from the meadows and goes along this ridge, up over this ridge, and then down the other side. And then I went up through this flowage here on the way up. It's 12 noon. I just passed about 20 people in various small groups heading up. I don't understand why people start so late because this gets really hot. It's probably low 80s right now. It's supposed to go up into around 90 this afternoon, but the breeze just picked up and we're getting some clouds. And boy, does that make a difference when a cloud goes in front of the sun. I think people look at the trail and say, oh, here's a nice 6-mile hike, and they don't realize that it's also 2,000 feet of elevation and hot and dry. The green always catches me by surprise on this trail because there's only maybe 3 or 4 months when it's green, from like, I don't know, April or May through October, September. It can, if it gets really hot, things start drying out in the summer. Turning brown, but it's green now. All right, the lower junction at 12:20, exactly an hour from the summit. Then it's just, I don't know, 15 minutes from here out. 12:30, so it took me another less than 15 minutes. So what's that, an hour and 15 minutes from the summit. It's clouding over a little bit on the Poudre River. I did see some rafts on a trailer go by, but I haven't seen anyone on the river. Nice hike, Greyrock Trail.